Hi, it's T-sHz or T-sHz or however you pronounce it. And in this video, if you haven't read the title of this video, I'm going to be opening some Dimension Force booster packs. Well, 3 to be exact, as you can see here. This is, as of this video, the most recent core set of the popular Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. So yeah, I don't really know too much about the cards that are within this set. I took a quick glance of the set list and it looks like there's a fair amount of Pendulum support, some new Pendulum monsters, as well as new archetypes, or at least newer archetypes like Scareclaw, I think it's called, and Symphonics. I also like the packaging as well. I think that's the new Odd Eyes monster. As usual with any core set, there's 9 cards per booster pack. Back then, booster packs had I think it was 8 commons and 1 rare. Then after a few series, they changed it to a few commons, 1 rare and 1 super rare. And now with the newer booster packs, such as this one, it's just 8 commons and 1 super rare. So they got rid of the rare for some reason. I guess they thought they were being too generous back then. Anyway, enough waffling. As said, I'm going to be opening these 3 packs and see what I get. Bit of little sort of card pack opening ASMR. Therian Reaper, in quotes, Foom, Aqua Water. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, the text is really small. I have to go zoom it up. You can only use each of the following effects of Therian Reaper, also in quotes, Foom, once per turn. You could target 1 Therian monster or 1 Aqua monster in your graveyard. Okay, so either generic or archetype theme, that's quite good. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, equip that monster to this card. So it's it's kind of like a union monster. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 1 Therian card in the spell and trap zone and 1 card your opponent controls. Return them to the hand, so it's like a bounce effect. Okay, that's cool. A Therian monster equipped with this card gains 700 attack. Okay, that's cool. That's kind of cool. It can activate the second effect listed above as if it were Therian Reaper Foom. So those stats aren't very good for level 7, but makes up for that with a pretty cool sort of bounce effect. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Overall, yeah, I'm not so sure. I think I said with the stats and that. It's alright. Maybe I need to look more into Therians to see if that's actually any good. Heroic Challenger Morningstar. Okay, it's level 4, 1500, 1300. Not great stats, but passable. If you control 2 or more warrior monsters, you could special summon this card from your hand. That's good. Anything that allows you to special summon it from the hand is great. If this card is normal or special summon, so if you do either normal summon it or use this card's first effect, you can add 1 heroic spell / trap from your deck to your hand. Wow, that's pretty great. That's great. If this card is in your graveyard and your life points are 500 less, that's quite specific. I'm not sure how often that'll be the case, but okay. You could special summon this card, but negate its effects. Okay, so there's multiple ways to special summon it. That's pretty good. Just for having monsters in your field, which in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! That shouldn't be too hard. I mean, if this came out early Yu-Gi-Oh! Then yeah, good luck with that. I don't know how many heroic spell traps there are, but doing that straight from your deck to your hand is always a really good effect. But I think the last effect is kind of odd. It's a great way to have another way to special summon this card, but chances of doing that quite slim, because having 500 life points or less probably isn't going to happen too often. That's kind of just a little extra bonus you'll probably never take advantage of. We got a Predaplant. Predaplant Bufolicula. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Level 1, no stats, 0 attack, 0 defense. Well, it's got 0 Pendulum Scale, that's amazing. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 dark fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And you can only do this once per turn. Dark fusion monster is quite common, so it's a little bit like one of those numerous polymerization magic cards where it doesn't matter what the materials are, you could just do that. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Quite good. But that's this pendulum effect, and with 0 pendulum scale, you probably will be playing this on a pendulum scale instead of as a monster. And what's this monster effect? If this card is sent to the graveyard or added to your extra deck face up because it was used as fusion material, you can add 1 face up dark pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, except this card. So that's good. It doesn't have to be Predaplant. It could be any dark pendulum monster, which is makes it much more broader, much more easier to take advantage of this effect. I also quite like the artwork. It's kind of like a cross between a frog and veiny plant of something. It's got like the sort of ponytail as well. Yeah, I think this is not half bad. Nice addition. Yeah, cool. Algolmazira. Oh, like Warrior Zera. Okay, nice little throwback. Well, callback rather. Level 8, 2800, 2300. Stats aren't great for level 8 Earth Zombie, so not a Dark Zombie, okay? If a zombie monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, so basically if it's destroyed in any way, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard instead. So if you want to protect a high level zombie monster like an Eldritch, for example, I guess this would be the great way to do it. Well, not great, but okay, it's a passable way of doing it. If this card is banished from your hand or graveyard, like with the former effect, you can special summon this card in defense position. Then you can reduce its level by 1. Maybe if you're doing maybe like, I don't know, certain XYZ summonings, like if there's an XYZ monster with level 7, then you gotta have it. I guess level modulation is not a bad effect either. Yeah, okay, that's not half bad. Yeah, I'm not sure how often this will be used. Shame it doesn't bring it back in attack position though. I think that'd be more helpful with its superior attack compared to its defense. But I could see this being a okay protection card. Not amazing, but fine. Hey, we got a super. Let's see, what's the super? Super rare is Curse of Dragon, the Magical Night Dragon. Yu-Gi-Oh! And their card names. Yeah, I like this. It's got the same stats as Curse of Dragon and the same level. So it's a fusion that only requires 1 warrior monster and 1 level 5 or higher dragon monster. This was clearly made so that you have to use Curse of Dragon to get this card onto the field. If you fusion summon a level 7 dragon fusion monster, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material. Okay, that's not bad. And banishing monsters from your graveyard instead of using like cards from your hands or your field, that's always handy to be able to do. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target 1 spell or trap in your graveyard that mentions Gaia the Dragon Champion. It's an archetype that's seen, I don't know, it doesn't seem that great. I do have a couple of other like Gaia the Fierce Knight cards and stuff. This is not a bad way to recover resources. Okay, so it's a bit of a shame that this card isn't much stronger than Curse of Dragon, like they have the exact same stats. It would be cool if they were slightly stronger because you're getting rid of like a, 1 warrior monster, 1 level 5 or higher. You expect it to be stronger, but gaining resources, even if it's a very niche pool of spell cards, you're playing that kind of deck anyway, so that's fine. Yeah, I like the artwork, and I like Curse of Dragon's wearing like silver armor and is so shiny, nice and shiny. But yeah, those are fine. It's nice seeing old, archetypes getting support. Light Law Medium. Level 2, attack 400, defense 300. Light Fairy, that's at the start of your opponent's battle phase. You can target any number of attack position monster your opponent controls. While this card is in your monster zone, those monsters must attack this card this turn if able. Okay, so this is basically like a taunt minion in Hearthstone. It also reminds me of the Karakuri archetype where they must attack if able, but it's the opposite. Your opponent's monsters have to attack this whilst this is on the field in the monster zone, not the extra monster zone, unless that includes the extra monster zone, because that's technically a monster zone but for extra monsters. What else does it do? So once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card and your opponent's attack position monster, you can negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to half the original attack of that opponent's monster. Ah, there we go, that makes more sense now, because I was going to say, if it didn't have that, then it would only be able to survive 1 attack, and you'll take a shit ton damage from like a high attack monster on your opponent's side of the field. Okay, so I guess at best, it's supposed to block 2 attacks from your opponent. Okay, so that's interesting, but I don't know. I'm not so sure how viable that strategy will be. It might save your skin maybe a couple times, but I'm sure there's other options that are more consistent and more reliable. So yeah, it's okay, but not great. Musical Sumo Dice Games. This is very interesting card art. Fire Machine. I would have preferred some like Light Machine or even Dark Machine, but okay, that's fine. 2 level 6 monsters, a little bit awkward. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, if this card is in the main monster zone, roll a 6-sided die and move this card directly to that many, 1 to 6, main monster zones clockwise, and if a monster is already in the zone it moves to, attach that monster to the card as material. Transfer its materials to this card. Okay, it's one of those gimmick cards, I guess, kind of like that aerobic fairy card that I got recently. Why do you need that many materials? What does it do? If this effect causes this monster's number of materials to exceed 6, You win the duel. That's a very unique win condition. I can't think of any card that allows you to do that. If this card cannot be moved or the monster in the zone it moves to cannot be attached, send this card to the graveyard. So that explains its abysmal stats. That's not the point of this card, I guess. I guess this point is to give you a unique win condition. And I'll be honest, it gives this card a lot of character. It's got nice cartoony artwork. And if you do somehow manage to pull this off, it would be freaking hilarious. I guess people will use this just for the shits and giggles, not because it's actually competitively viable. Okay, I'll at least say it's hilarious, and I really like it. I'm glad I got this in my collection now because it's hilarious. We have our first Symphonic Warrior card. Symphonic Warrior rocks with 2 Ks. So this is like a whole collection of Symphonic Warriors playing together. That's cute. Level 7. Pendulum scale 10. Wow, that's really high. That could come in handy. During each standby phase, you can add 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. So, because you're using 1 tuner, 1 non-tuner monster, I guess to break even, you need to survive 2 standby phases. I guess it's possible. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you could destroy both that monster and this card. So if you're in a real pinch and your opponent's got a really strong monster, you could destroy that and this monster to pretty much just negate the whole battle. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it here. It just seems like a bit too much resources just to get rid of one big bad boss monster on your opponent's side of the field. But hey, if that opponent's monster is really, really strong, I guess it's worth it. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place this card in the Pendulum zone. If you have a low level monster and so one of your other Pendulum scale monster is destroyed, this is a nice replacement, very nice replacement. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra to your hand. If Synth Amplifier is in the field zone, you could destroy 1 card in the field. So I guess if this arrives in the field and that card's already there, the Synth Amplifier just destroy 1 card. No other clauses or, restrictions. That's great. So being able to instantly add a face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, that's really cool. That is really cool. It's certainly better to have something that can happen much more instantly compared to the Pendulum version where you have to kind of survive some turns just to break even. But even so, I guess that makes up for it a bit by just being able to add it straight to from your extra deck to your hand. I guess it's pretty cool. I like the artwork where all these musical instruments are grooving around, and it's charming. And last card of this booster pack is Crow Tengu. So it's a level 4 Earth Zombie, 1400 attack and 1200 defense is not great. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, or if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Crow Tengu once per turn. It doesn't negate the effects though, it just destroys them, so that's a little bit concerning. Because some cards, I guess, have floating effects and stuff. So that can be, not very advantageous for you sometimes. So yeah, a bit too much work, I think. But I could be very wrong about that. Alright, so that was pack 1. Let's go for pack 2. First one is Predaplant Biblisp by Blisp. Dark Plant, okay. If this card is sent to the graveyard, shouldn't be too difficult. With their stats, you can add 1 Predaplant monster from your deck to your hand. If a monster with a predator counter is on the field, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay, counters are kind of a polarizing mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the reliance on having counters on it means you gotta have extra spell cards, and you gotta do certain things to get the counters, and if you don't, then you can't take advantage of this fairly good effect where you can just get this back onto the field, and I guess in defense, as extra protection, or as extra materials for summoning. Not a great wall, but for a level 1 monster, 1900 is still decent. So yeah, I think this isn't half bad. Okay, we got Scareclaw Alternative. Tribute 3 Scareclaw monsters. For the rest of this turn, your opponent can only special summon monsters in defense position. Wow, that's quite a big cost just to prevent your opponent from special summoning in attack position. It could be a detriment because that means your opponent is now just creating walls of defense position monsters you have to battle your way through. Fortunately, there's quite a lot of monsters that have higher attack than defense. So in a way, you're allowing yourself to destroy them more easily, but without whittling away their life points, unless they have piercing damage or something. Attributing 3 monsters, that's quite a high cost for that. During your turn, banish this card from your graveyard. Inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each defense position monster in the field. The burn damage is really, really small. Much better, of course, if your opponent has a full field of defense position monsters, but that also includes your defense position monsters. So I guess the point is you're playing a real turtling strategy, or you're changing monsters to defense position, not to protect your life points, but just so you could do a little bit of burn damage. As said though, 100 damage per defense position monster, that just sounds like a rubbish card. It's rubbish, in my opinion. Therian yugioh, level 8, light psychic, 2100 attack and 2800 defense. You can only use the first of the following effects of this card once per turn. You can target 1 Therian monster or 1 psychic monster in your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, equip that monster to this card. It says you can only use the first of the following effect, whilst this one, it says you can only use each of the following effects, which is interesting. While you control an equipped card, Therian monsters you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. So that's any equipped card to any monster on your side of the field. That shouldn't be too difficult. There's quite a few card effects that destroy monsters, so again, some protection is alright. Having an equipped card constantly on the field though, on your side of the field, in your control, yeah, you lose that mildly positive effect. A Therian monster equipped with this card gains 700 attack. Also it gains the second effect listed above as if it were Therian yugioh. Okay, so it's kind of like inheriting it. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting union type monster, and it's nice to see them getting a bit more, versatility, even if it's not complete protection, not against opponent's attacks either. But hey, it's something. And whilst we're still on Therians, there's Therian Stand Up. That's quite funny artwork. Is it No, I think it's pronounced Therian. Target 1 Therian monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Then you can equip 1 Therian monster from your hand or graveyard to it. Okay, that's really good. So any Therian monster, so they're high levels, so I guess that's their intention, to be special summoned easily. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target 2 Therian monsters, 1 on the field and 1 in your graveyard. Equip that monster from your graveyard to the other monsters you control. You can only use Therian stand-up effect once per turn, and only once that turn. Okay, so nice little recovery card, if a bit slow because it's a trap. But hey, this goes really well with the Therian archetype. Just from looking at the couple of cards we talked about earlier, actually this is actually quite good support. I actually think I like the artwork as well. She's like, damn you! The contrast between the serious, menacing dark robot and the, like that. Whoa, ho diggity, we got an ultra rare. Therian Discolosseum. Wow, cool, I got an ultra rare. That's sweet. A field spell card. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Therian monster from your deck to your hand. Whoa, that's good. Once per turn, if your monster would be destroyed by battle, you can send 1 Therian card or 1 Endless Engine Gyro System from your deck to your graveyard instead. I'm guessing you're more likely to do the former since, it just says Therian card, so it's much more generic compared to this one specific card from your deck to your graveyard. Okay, so it's battle protection, but, it depends highly on your resources, so it's fairly balanced in that regard. Once per turn, when a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Therian monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So this is meant to bring those Therians back. So it's not bad generation. And in fact, it does that instantly as soon as you play this thing on the field zone. It's nice as well. I like the card art as well. It's quite atmospheric with the giant, looks like a spaceship, and the volcano right next to it, and the monsters below going, yeah, I think, yet again, this is good card for Therians. So yeah, I think this is really cool, and I'm glad this is an Ultra, because this seems like a better option than Therian stand-up, in my opinion, even if it does mean getting rid of more resources in your deck. Really cool. I'm glad I got an Ultra. Nice. Omega Judgment. Wow, there's very little text in this card. Oh, that's refreshing. Really like the artwork. I'm not quite sure what the hell's going on. Like, is that a face or someone's body? Or yeah, I like the lightning effects in it. Target one face-up monster card in your spell and trap card zone, and 2 cards your opponent controls. Destroy them. So this is Therian support as well. Okay. And 2 cards your opponent controls. So you're getting rid of 2 cards, this card and 1 on your field, in your spell and trap card zone, for 2 of your opponents. Well, that's any of your opponent's cards. So it could be a monster and a spell, or 2 spells, or 2 traps. So it's broad in that respect, but I guess at best it's like +1, because if you exclude the fact you're using this card, you're getting one of yours to get rid of 2. So, but I guess if you do include getting rid of this card as well, it evens out, so it doesn't negate their effect. So, but yeah, I'm not sure about this one. This seems a little underwhelming to me. Okay, another Symphonic Warrior. Symphonic Warrior Guitarist. Level 3, 1100, 500 defense. Not bad stats for level 3, could be better. Pendulum Scale 0. Wow, that's really good. So I guess, yeah, it if you pardon the pun, harmonizes with the other Symphonic Warrior monster. I apologize. You can target one other Symphonic Warrior card you control. Return both that card and this card to your hand. You can only use the effect of this kind of monster once per turn. So I guess this is to prevent them from being destroyed by spell or trap cards if they're in the Pendulum zone, I suppose, because I guess there's other Symphonic Warrior Pendulum monsters, just like with the Synchro monster. What's this monster effect though? If Synth Amplifier, there, that card again, is in your field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. I'm guessing that's the sort of Necro Valley where this archetype does its best when it has that one specific field zone spell card. That's a little bit picky, but I guess you get to special summon this card straight away from your hand, so I guess there's a huge positive in that. You know, resources for XYZ summons, even though level 3 is not great for XYZ summons, I think 4 is better. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one card in your Pendulum zone. Return it to your hand. I like the card art as well. He's got like sort of like a rock, like sort of punk rock sort of outfit going on with the sort of leopard jacket thing. So yeah, I think Symphonic Warriors are looking interesting, at least design-wise. Devouring Sarcophagus. Is that how you spell sarcophagus? Level 4, that's really good. Dark Zombie, also good. Attack 0, Defense 0. When this card is destroyed by battle with an opponent's monster, you can take control of that opponent's monster. And if you do, it becomes a zombie monster. Also, its attack and defense becomes 0. When your zombie monster is destroyed by battle with an opponent's monster, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, take control of the opponent's monster, and if you do, it becomes a zombie monster. Also, that monster's attack and defense becomes 0. Okay, so it's a way of stealing your opponent's monsters and transforming to zombies to gain benefits from zombie support. So I guess all your opponent's just going to do is just not attack it. Just find a way to destroy it with a spell card or like a card effect. Unless, I guess, if you play this face down, they attack into it and activate its effect, but it's not a flip effect. Does that mean it'll still work? I guess it does, even though it's not a flip effect monster. Although the fact their attack and defense becomes 0 is a little frustrating because then you won't be able to use it to just swipe your opponent's board or do anything like that. But I guess it's great if you want extra materials for, you know, XYZ summoning and whatnot. It has its uses as getting resource generation by taking away opponent's monsters and using them as your own. That's cool. And the fact you can do something similar when this card's in the graveyard is also a bonus. I really like card artwork. It's quite dark and menacing. Interesting, but yeah. And the last card of this booster pack is Amphibious Boogroth Mark 11. Wow, this brings back memories. I remember the original Amphibious Boogroth, where Umi had to be on the field to attack directly or something like that. And this is like, I guess, the upgraded version, level 5, 1850 attack and 1500 defense. Those stats aren't very good for level 5. Water Machine, also not the best typing either. I like machines, but Water Machine, nah. While Umi is not on the field, this card gains 700 attack. Okay, that's cool. So actually not having Umi on the field makes this stronger, which is what? 2550 attack. If Umi's not on the field, that's actually pretty good for level 5, yeah. Oh, but it can't attack directly if that's the case. Oh. Well, I guess it's not bad for like clearing out some lower level monsters, but the fact you can't directly deal damage to your opponent is, I guess, the way to balance it out, I suppose. But while Umi is on the field, you can target one face-up non-water monster in the field, destroy it. I guess you're screwed if you're playing against Atlanteans or Mermales, but I don't think too many people are playing those, so you should be relatively safe. So yeah, you get to destroy basically any non-water monster, which is like from a humongous pool of monsters. So I guess it's that. So you get sort of a win-win really. Okay, it's much more versatile than the original Amphibious Boogroth. Not amazing, but certainly better than the original Boogroth, and I like this certainly better than the other versions of this card. The older versions at least. Okie dokie, picking a pokey. Final card pack, here goes. Third and final, let's see what we got. Another Scareclaw card, Scareclaw Astra. Level 3, 0 attack and 1300 defense. So I guess Scareclaws are meant to just be played in defense. That's their turtling strategy, I suppose. Yeah, I don't think a lot of archetypes rely on such a strategy, but let's see where this goes. Earth Beast, not bad typing. That's some really cool artwork. It's like some sort of cybernetic saber-toothed tiger, I really like it. You can special summon this card from your hand to your main monster zone, adjacent to a Scareclaw monster you control, or in its column. So it's a column-based kind of archetype as well. Also, just special summoning it just for, you know, a Scareclaw monster existing, whilst it has empty monster zones next to it. Yeah, that's cool. You can only special summon Scareclaw Astra once per turn, this way. Your Scareclaw monsters in the extra monster zones can attack a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of defense position Scareclaw monsters you control, with different names. So I guess you just play one Scareclaw monster, you then special summon this defense position, which means then I guess there's another Scareclaw monster with a different name that you play in defense position as well, create a huge wall of Scareclaws, and then whatever's in your extra monster zone can attack probably up to maybe 5 times. That's like Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the beginning on steroids. That's I mean, it does require a lot more work to do so, but with the Scareclaw's ability to just special summon itself adjacent to an empty adjacent space to another Scareclaw on the field, I think this might be my new favorite archetype. That's just cool. I like their designs, and wow, I'm starting to really like Scareclaws. I think this is a cool archetype. So yeah, wow, cool. And what you know, still on Scareclaws, we have Scareclaw Acro. Okay, Earth Beast as well. 0 attack and 2000 defense, so it's actually higher than Scareclaw Astra's. It's like a cat, ogre, bat thing, gargoyle. You can special summon this card from your hand to your main monster zone adjacent to it. So it's basically it can be special summoned in the same way that Scareclaw Astra can. Your Scareclaw monsters in the extra monster zone or zones gain 300 attack for each defense position monster you control. So just like with Astra, but instead of giving that extra monster zone the ability to attack multiple times, Acro just basically gives them an attack boost. So probably not as good, but getting the extra attack boost never hurts. It's just much milder compared to being able to attack multiple times over and over and over again. So Acro's better defense, I guess, also makes up for it with Astra compared to Astra's 1300. Acro, you're cool as well. War Rock Medium. It looks pretty cool. Fiery Dragon. A continuous spell card. While your opponent controls a special summon monster and you control a level 7 or higher War Rock monster during May Phase 1, neither player can activate the effects of monsters on the field. It's good that it's much more broad when it comes to your opponent's monster, which has to be a special summon monster, which should be a piece of piss really to target. During your main phase, you can set one War Rock spell trap directly from your deck, except War Rock Medium. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn. Oh, except warrior monsters, that's fine. And you can only use War Rock Medium once per turn. So yeah, it might not trigger very often, because I guess your opponent's just going to try and destroy your level 7 monsters as soon as possible. Well, they'll probably do that by just using normal summon monsters, or tribute summon monsters like monarchs. So yeah, there are some tough workarounds for it, but because of how common special summoning is, compared to like when I used to collect cards like very early Yu-Gi-Oh, this effect can trigger every now and then. It might come in handy. And it's also cool that you could set one War Rock monster spell trap directly from your deck. So yeah, this is fine. I don't know much about War Rocks, so maybe this will be pretty easy, but that's just me anyway, that's just me. Next, oh, another Scareclaw card. Scareclaw Balloon. Level 3, 0 attack, 1700 defense. So better than Astra, but not as good as Acro. Okay, just like with the other Scareclaws. Special summoned, can be special summoned from your hand to a main monster zone that's adjacent to a Scareclaw monster you control. If your Scareclaw monster in your extra monster zone attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. That's, in my opinion, the weakest so far. Astra allows you to attack multiple times per battle phase. Acro gives your monster, at least gives them an attack boost, so they can to destroy stronger monsters more easily and more capably. That's not even a word. But Balloons, it inflicts piercing battle damage, which doesn't matter if your opponent's just playing attack position monsters. That's what they're going to do then. So yeah, like the card art, like a muzzled wolf with like laser cannons attached to it. Yeah, I'm really liking the Scareclaw's card art, but Balloons effect, not as good. That's unfortunately, in my opinion. And this is our super. Performapal Gentrude. Gentrude, because he's a gentleman. Level 4, 1500, 1000. So it's got stats of a very early Yu-Gi-Oh card. But hey, it's the Pendulum scale level 8, which is decent. Dark Fiend, one of the best combinations in the game. So that's also a positive. Wow, this is some pretty nice shiny card art. It's kind of a cartoony magician guy, I quite like it. If Performapal Ladienge is in your other Pendulum zone and you control no monsters or only Pendulum monsters, you can add one Odd Eyes card, so this is Odd Eyes support, from your deck to your hand. Okay, any card that allows you to add a card from your deck to your hand is instantly good. It's a little bit annoying though that it has to be this one specific card in your other Pendulum zone, and your board is in your monster zones are completely empty. But hey, at least it makes up for that by giving you resources straight from the deck, so that's cool. What's its monster effect? If this card is destroyed, you can place, which shouldn't be too hard with those stats, you can place one Performapal Pendulum monster from your deck to your Pendulum zone, except Performapal Gentrude. So if this goes away, you can replace it. Okay, that's pretty cool. If this card is face up in your extra deck, you can discard one Pendulum monster, add this card to your hand, then you can return one Performapal or Odd Eyes card from your Pendulum zone to your hand. You can use Performapal Gentrude's effect once per turn and once per turn. Yeah, I quite like it. Ice Jade Curse. Continuous spell card. While an Ice Jade monster and Ice Jade Cenote Enian Cradle on the field. Oh, they both have to be on the field. That's a bit awkward. Your opponent cannot activate the effect on monsters that were summoned that turn. Okay, so it doesn't just prevent activation of effects, it only prevents activation effects on monsters that were summoned that turn. At least it's any Ice Jade monster and this one specific Ice Jade, but even so, requiring two monsters and this, quite a bit of maintenance. When a monster is destroyed by battle involving your Ice Jade monster, you can target one of those destroyed monsters, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Okay, so as long as you have a strong enough Ice Jade monster and you destroy an opponent's monster, you do a bit of burn damage. You're going to have to soup up your Ice Jades or get the biggest, strongest Ice Jades to take full advantage of this, otherwise you're not really going to go very far with this thing. Bit awkward this one, I think. Phelan Hydra, our first and probably only, it's our only Link monster in this video. Light Cybers, 2+ monsters except tokens. Okay, so the generic, this is generic because it just requires 2 monsters. Well, 3, probably 3 most of the time, but you know, at least 2, so that's fine. Gains 300 attack for each monster co-linked to this card. I think there's some monsters that have a similar link level that have better stats. Well, stat, because it doesn't have defense, because it's a link monster. So, okay, its arrows aren't bad. Left, down, and up. You can target one level link 3 or lower monster co-linked to this card, tribute it, and if you do, special summon VLAN tokens, which are Cyber Spite level 1 tokens, 0 attack and 0 defense, equal to the tributed monster's link rating. Also, you cannot special summon monsters with the same link rating as that targeted monster for the rest of the turn. It doesn't say that you can't use the VLAN tokens as tribute, so I guess this is to help extend your combos, I suppose, by giving you more, you know, monsters or tokens to tribute to, you know, play more link monsters and co-link more and stuff. But yeah, This is a sort of a material generator, so there's kind of potential, but locking out by preventing you from special summoning monster with the same link ranking as the monster that has been targeted for this card's effect, yeah. I'm not so sure, but I guess I could see some potential. Heroic Champion Jarn Griper. I like the card artwork. It reminds me a little bit of Elemental Hero or like a Vision Hero or something. Rank 1 Earth Warrior, that's fine. 2 level 1 warrior monsters, 700 attack and 1800 defense. The first time each warrior monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect each turn. It is not destroyed. You can use each of the following effects of Heroic Champion Jarn Griper once. I'm just going to say Jarn Griper because I'm guessing that's a German name or sort of inspired by German or something. Okay, so let's see what the first effect was. So it basically prevents destruction of a monster once per turn. I guess your opponent's either just going to keep attacking one monster over and over again to prevent you from taking advantage of this card's fairly decent protection effect. So you can detach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 level/rank 4 warrior monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the monster's original attack. When an attack is declared involving this opponent's monster, you can gain life points equal to half its attack. So you're getting like a nice boost to this as well as a nice extra monster on the field, which is cool. But that means then you can only really do this once unless you find a consistent way of giving this thing materials. I'm sure there's plenty of ways of doing that. And then I guess when this gets the boost, which appears to be permanent, it doesn't say that it lasts until the end of the turn, so I assume that it's permanent, which it will take a while to gain enough resources to make this a gigantic beat stick. And this is an odd one. You can gain life points equal to half his attack, so it's optional. So yeah, not bad. And our last card in this entire video is Reverse Jar. Ooh. One of my favorite cards is Morphing Jar because of how powerful it is, and the jar archetype is a fun one, if pretty unbalanced overall. The Morphing Jar and Fiber Jar and Cyber Jar, all those really powerful cards. And we got Reverse Jar, so what does this thing do? Level 3, 800 attack, 900 defense, Earth Rock. Okay, of course, well, as a jar card, it's a flip effect monster, that makes sense. Flip. Change as many other monsters on the field as possible to face down defense position. Then, return as many face-up spells and traps as possible from the field to the hand. Then, each player can set spells and traps from the hand up to the number returned to their own hand by this effect. Okay, so it's definitely a jar card. It has that kind of effect. Is it as good as Morphing Jar? No, it's nowhere near as good. Is it as good as Fiber Jar? No. Fiber Jar is ridiculously powerful. Is it good as Cyber Jar? No, it's not. So yeah, this is much more niche. If you're playing Outliches and they're playing a bunch of monster trap cards, kind of like Paleozoics, that can be great to like putting them off from playing too many spell traps or any archetype that is very reliant on spells and traps, like Dark Magicians maybe. So if they have a continuous trap or continuous spell, they can't play them until the start of their opponent's turn unless it's like a quick play. So yeah, this might be occasionally helpful. It feels a bit like a do nothing, but it can be handy at times. I think the flipping face down defense position is more handy. Fun though, pretty fun. So yeah, overall, I think I found a new archetype I like. So yeah, as I said, Scareclaws are looking really cool. Therians, not as much, but I've also found some really fun cards like this musical sumo card. It's hilarious. There are some fun cards in this set. Even Reverse Jar to some extent is a fun card, even if it doesn't look that great. As a Yu-Gi-Oh boomer, there's a fair amount to like about this modern set. I approve. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you didn't watch, then go watch it. Bye.